The Fires of Ancient India, a saga of power, faith and destiny. In the searing heat of the Indian subcontinent, where the rivers Indus and Ganges carved out a land of mystery and majesty, a civilization emerged that would challenge the limits of human imagination. The Indus Valley, around 2500 BCE, was not just a society, it was a force of nature. Its cities, like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, rose from the earth like defiant citadels, their streets laid out with a precision that spoke of a mind far ahead of its time. Beneath the surface of these metropolises, a labyrinth of tunnels and drains whispered secrets of a people obsessed with order and cleanliness. But the most haunting relics of this civilization are the seals, etched with animals, deities and an undeciphered script that defies our attempts to unlock its meaning. Who were these people? What gods did they worship? What stories did they tell? The answers lie buried in the dust, lost to time. And then, like a storm that had spent its fury, the Indus Valley began to crumble. The reasons are shrouded in darkness. Perhaps the rivers shifted their courses, turning fertile lands into deserts, or maybe invaders struck like wolves in the night. As their cities fell silent, a new power stirred in the north. The Aryans, a fierce and nomadic people, swept down from the steppes around 1500 BCE, bringing with them the dawn of the Vedic age. The Aryans were warriors, their lives a relentless struggle against the elements, enemies, and the very gods themselves. They believed in a cosmos of fire and fury, where Agni, the god of fire, carried their offerings to the heavens, and Indra, the thunder-wielding king of gods, battled the forces of chaos. The Vedas, their sacred hymns, were not just prayers, they were spells, weapons of sound that could bend the universe to their will. But the Aryans were not content with mere survival. They began to settle, to build and to conquer. The small tribal communities grew into powerful kingdoms, known as the Mahajanapadas, where ambition and intrigue ran as thick as the blood spilled on the battlefield. The most powerful of these was Magadha, a kingdom that would become the crucible for two of the greatest spiritual revolutions the world has ever seen. In this land of strife and yearning, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama abandoned his palace and wealth, driven by a burning desire to understand the suffering that plagued humanity. His quest led him to enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, transforming him into the Buddha, the awakened one. His teachings were like a thunderclap across the land, shaking the foundations of the old order. But Buddhism was not the only fire ignited in the heart of ancient India. At the same time, Mahavira, a spiritual giant, was forging the path of Jainism, a faith that demanded absolute non-violence, even at the cost of one's life. These religions were revolutions of the soul, offering liberation from the cycle of birth and death, and challenging the rigid hierarchies of the Vedic society. As these flames of faith spread, a new power rose from the ashes of the old, the Maurya Empire. In the 4th century BCE, Chandragupta Maurya, a man of iron will and unyielding ambition, seized control of northern India. With the cunning guidance of his advisor, Chanakya, he built an empire that stretched from the Himalayas to the southern tip of India. But it was Chandragupta's grandson, Ashoka, who would become the true legend. Ashoka's reign was marked by a transformation as brutal as it was miraculous. After the carnage of the Kalinga War, where the rivers ran red with blood and the screams of the dying filled the air, Ashoka turned away from conquest. He embraced Buddhism with a fervor that consumed him, renouncing violence and spreading a message of peace and dharma across his vast empire. His edicts, carved into stone pillars that still stand today, were more than royal decrees. They were a testament to the power of change, to the possibility of redemption. Yet the story of ancient India did not end with Ashoka. After the Mauryas, the Gupta Empire rose in the 4th century CE, ushering in a golden age of unparalleled creativity and intellectual achievement. But this was no peaceful era. It was a time of intense exploration, where the boundaries of knowledge were pushed to their limits. Mathematicians like Aryabhata calculated the orbits of planets and the value of pi, while physicians wrote treatises that could heal the body and mind. The Guptas were not just patrons of science, they were architects of beauty. The temples and caves of Ajanta and Ellora, carved with divine precision, depicted gods and heroes in scenes of cosmic drama. Kalidasa, the great poet and playwright, wove tales of love and loss, of power and passion that resonated with the very essence of the human soul. Ancient India was a land of extremes, of towering achievements and devastating declines, of spiritual heights and brutal conflicts. It was a world where the sacred and the profane danced a dangerous dance, where the quest for power was matched only by the search for truth. As we look back on this era, we are drawn into a saga of intensity, where every moment was a struggle for meaning, a battle for the soul of a civilization that would leave an indelible mark on the world.